What's going on? What's going on? Sombra del Piso back once again, I suppose. Tonight we are in the middle of nowhere once again, and we're decided to just shoot content. Usually what I do is that I walk around, I have my tripod with me, camera, extra batteries, all the materials just in order to create an experience for you guys, paused in time, frozen in time, and full of information, full of gems. So I figured, okay, this is a nice night, super warm. Let's talk about semen retention again. We're gonna talk about it this time. We're gonna talk about it not from the lens of Judeo-Christianity. No, we're gonna talk about semen retention in regards to the Brahmacharya. As we all know, every time I say as we all know, I'm assuming that you guys understand a lot of the things that I do understand, not understanding that this video is a medium to tell you what I understand. For the people that don't know, Brahmacharya is an aspect of Hinduism which sort of believes in celibacy. That also, these guys also talk about being 12 years celibate to unlock the memory nerve in order to remember all of your past lives and to know about the lives to come. Interesting stuff. I'll let you know when I get there. That's ambitious. So who we're going to follow, or we're gonna sort of read about, is this guy named Sri Aurobindo. So he was this Brahmacharya that was responsible for the creation of integral yoga. Integral yoga, I only know about vinyasa, flow and restore, and hot yoga. Those are the modern interpretations of yoga. Integral yoga, as Sri talked about, was basically it's sort of what we're doing on the practice of semen retention, going within ourselves and trying to obtain our power, obtain more and more energy in order to grasp certain aspects of the world, and more quickly, much more effectively, and much more apt to its true objective nature. Interesting guy. Let's talk about this stuff. Let's get into it. As per usual, like, comment, subscribe, and let's start. This is from his The Brain of India book. So he writes this. We're gonna, of course, as we usually do with these things, we're gonna read it and then analyze it based on what we know. So we have stated, as succinctly as is consistent with clearness, the main psychological principles on which the ancient Indians based their scheme of education. Interesting. That's so interesting too. So if you think about it now, India definitely is not a country that you think about when you are thinking about world superpowers, right? India is making its rise. When I was in college reading the Wall Street Journal, India was sort of getting up there, you know? It was, they were selling Apple products within the country. People were establishing a lot of businesses. I don't know what has happened now. Maybe they're still advancing ever so slowly, but they are definitely a far cry from the powerful Indian individuals that they used to have. There's a lot of individuals from India that contributed to mathematics just because of their celibacy and how they were able to grasp the things around them and communicate that to people that were uninitiated in the ways that even got them to that knowledge in the first place. Let's keep going. By the training of Brahmacharya, they place all the energy of which the system was capable, system as in the body system, and which could be spared from bodily functions at the service of the brain. In this way, I like this part, in this way they not only strengthen the metta, right, or grasping power, the or subtlety and swiftness of thought conception, the memory and the creative intellectual force, making the triple force of memory, invention, judgment, comprehensive and analytic. But they greatly enlarge the range, no less the intensity of the absorbing, storing, and generative mental activities. So we could already deduce right now, when you're on semen retention, within the words of Aurobindo, right, you are able to power up these aspects that are called metta and di. What is metta? Grasping power. You are able to look at something. I don't know if it's happened to me yet, but I do get strange thoughts when I do stare at certain things in the world for too long. Not because I've zoned out, but it's because I've concentrated on it so fully, and I'm getting like these interesting downloads about weird different aspects of the object that I'm looking at that I'd never thought of before. The metta, you are understanding something, what as close as to the objective reality of that thing is, and you are making deductions based on what else you know. And the, which is the subtlety and swiftness of thought conception. When you're in conversations, and that's essentially, I have developed that very, very highly. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not being vain in any sort. This is just what's been going on with me. I think my has been developed very, very well. I'm gonna tell you an example. Say for instance, you're going to work. You're going through the public transportation. Obviously it's crowded when you're in the city. There's a lot of clashes of different energy, auric fields, noises, opinions of others, all within your space. And then you absorb that to some degree. A lot of people buy cars and go into like some sort of credit card debt just because they want to avoid public transportation because they can't handle stress. Interesting, right? You go through that whole maelstrom that is the public transportation. You get out, 2 minutes later, you're at work. Obviously a completely different environment with completely different auric fields that have not, been in contact with the people in public transportation. And you are able to have a great conversation with them. And the words that you are using, the sentences and the experiences that you brought up are not remnants or lingering from the sort of soft trauma that you have absorbed from the public transportation debacle, the episode, when you were traveling through it. That is the power of the development of D and meta. This is what automatically happens when you're on semen retention, when you do it correctly, because it's a journey, guys. As I say, it's a journey. The longer you are on the practice, these faculties slowly level up, and become an increase in power. I'm not gonna lie, I think my meta and the are very, very highly adept. I'm not lying, I'm not kidding. There are situations I could get teleported from here into a busy nightclub and I will be able to fit in very, very calmly and smoothly because my thought conception energy is very, very powerful and quick. It's about memory too. The power of memory on semen retention is actually insane. What happens in combination with the meta, the grasping power of the things around you, and the which is the quickness and the swiftness of thought conception. When you are unwillingly and unconsciously downloading ways on how to remember things, names, and people much more effectively. This is what they don't tell you about semen retention. And this is all spoken about by Sri Aurobindo. Let's continue. This is nuts. This easy and unfailing illumination crowning the unfailing energy created by Brahmacharya was due to the discipline which developed sattva, or inner illumination. Let's read that again. This easy and unfailing illumination crowning the unfailing energy created by the Brahmacharya, which is celibacy, which is semen retention correctly, was due to the discipline which developed inner illumination. That means you understand the aspects of yourself, you understand the aspects of individuals due to understanding how you react, right? How you are, due to the power of sattva. This illumination makes the acquisition of, listen, this is all mental, makes the acquisition of knowledge and all other intellectual operations easy, spontaneous, swift, decisive, and comparatively unfatiguing to body or brain. Well, remember, everything that we do in this universe and everything that we do in this physical reality requires energy. Even when we think, even when you want to sit down and rest, when you have a day off from work or your day off from your responsibilities, you are still pondering to some degree, whether you're on semen retention or off of it. And that uses up energy. One could be in an office basically devising ways on how to construct the next ziggurat, right, of New York City. And that will require a lot of mental energy. That requires a lot of power. When you're on this practice of semen retention, intellectual operations are just coming naturally. You are able to instantly download a situation that happens in front of you, and you are able to react and do what you need to do or what needs to be done. You don't do what you need to do on semen retention. You do what needs to be done of the situation. I think of semen retention as a sort of refinement of the self until you fit into the grand puzzle that is the great plan of the Almighty. the monad. This is how I think about semen retention. The longer you are on it, the closer you are to obtaining a lot of these mental benefits. So what else? In these two things lies the secret of Aryan, well, that's an interesting word. I wonder if that'll get me in trouble on YouTube. Intellectual achievement. Brahmacharya and Sattvic development created the brain of India. It was perfected by yoga. What yoga is not necessarily an amalgam and a group of poses that, you know, the modern world has interpreted yoga and has marketed yoga as, at least here in the West. Yoga is a practice. It is about meditating. It's about fasting. And it's about including the Brahmacharya practice, which is being celibate. When you have all of these things which come about naturally, you seek them naturally when you are on semen retention earnestly, when you are on semen retention correctly. You're not peaking, you're not edging, you're not drinking, by the way, because being sober definitely enhances the semen retention experience. You develop these mental benefits, the medha, the grasping. I love what they use. That's what I love about Hinduism, is that they have these words that sort of encompass this idea of thought. The meta, the grasping power of reality. Like, you just look at something, you understand it. And when you understand it, you're not understanding what has been said about the thing or what is marketed about the thing or what George Bush said about the thing. No, you understand what that thing is in tandem with the objective reality. That means you understand the true nature of the thing. Which is the quick thought conception. You are instantly thinking of something in regards to a situation, and what the situation requires. Sattva, inner illumination. You understand your ebbs and flows. You understand after a very, very long time on semen retention, oh, this is why I drink alcohol. It's because just to numb this feeling. This is why I take drugs. It is to obscure this feeling. This is why I say this at certain emotional states and certain situations. It's because I am trying to guard myself from this possibly happening. This is the reality of semen retention, and this is the reality of the Brahmacharya path, which includes semen retention and blossoms into many, many gifts. Mental gifts, the aforementioned mental gifts included. So with that being said, that's all I have to say for this right now. We're gonna have a part 2 to this. Please stay tuned. So like, comment, subscribe. Don't let this world get you down. Grasp its real nature. Grasp the truth. Conceive very, very powerful creative thoughts that leads to mass liberation of the individual, and also the lighting of candles of illumination in other people, so we can make this place a better place in our temporary time here. And stay radiant. I'll see you guys in the next one. Woo!